Am I the a-hole for saying no when my family said I should let my sister have her honeymoon at my house? Backstory. My house used to belong to my parents, but they sold it to me in 2017. It had been a family vacation home of sorts. Every couple of years when my grandparents were alive, they'd invite us kids up there for a week. Fast forward to the end of 2016, my sister got accepted to her dream college. Won't say which, but it's a big one. Everyone was excited and proud of her. Me too. But a week after that, my parents called asking if I'd found a house yet. I was looking for one and my family knew it. I've been saving up since I started my first job at 20. I said no, so my dad suggested I buy the lake house from them. I asked why they wanted to sell it. Turns out sister didn't have any savings for college, didn't get some scholarship like she'd planned, and our parents couldn't afford to pay for everything either. I asked why she didn't get student loans, and they said they didn't want her ruining her credit. So their solution was to sell the lake house and use the money from that to finance her college. I had lots of good memories from the lake house, so eventually I agreed. I work via computers, so after getting a good internet connection out there, moved right in and been there since. My significant other moved in permanently last year before lockdown, and it's been pretty blissful. 2019. My sister and her college boyfriend got engaged. Parents agreed to pay for her wedding, but like with every other wedding around then, things got set back. Sister had to postpone her wedding until this year, and she plans to have it in December. I even agreed to be in the bridal party. Issues came up recently when my sister asked where I was going to stay for the 2 weeks after her wedding. Puzzled, I answered, my house? She got a sour look and said that wouldn't work. Her and Fiancée would be there and they wanted private time. I asked why they'd be at my house, and she said that's where they were having their honeymoon. 2 weeks alone at a lake house. I said that was news to me, and she insisted our parents said it was fine, but I said it wasn't their place to make decisions about my house. After arguing, she called our parents who said I was being unreasonable. I said I didn't want my sister and her fiancé christening their new union by being intimate in my house. They said I was being gross and selfish. I said no again, so sister threatened to remove me from the bridal party. I just shrugged and said okay. She starts crying, saying she already couldn't have her dream wedding like she wanted, and now I was trying to ruin her honeymoon too. I told her to rent a hotel room like every other newlywed couple, then hung up. She's not speaking to me, and I'm uninvited to the wedding. Our parents keep calling me and saying I should do this for her since her wedding's only 1/3 what she wanted it to be, but I'm not comfortable with them staying unsupervised at my house. They're making me feel like a monster for saying no. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. I don't know if it's just me, but the favoritism is shining brighter than the sun. Not the a-hole. Your sister is crazy for expecting that before even conforming with you. It's definitely not you. I could see the favoritism shining from a mile away. Very easy to see who the golden child is here. OP not the a-hole. It's your home, so your parents and sister have absolutely no say whatsoever who can and can't stay there without consulting the person who owns the property. They sold it to you, so it's no longer the family holiday / lake house. It's your house. They don't get to take the money from the sale and still dictate who can and can't use it. That's not how selling a house works. Period. Not the a-hole. They don't have money to cover for her education to the point of selling a house, but they do for her wedding? She doesn't get to guilt you for already not having her dream wedding because she chose to get married at a time in which she still depends on her parents. What she needs is a reality check, not a wedding. Until your parents stop treating her like their little princess, she's gonna be a lost cause, which you don't have to take any responsibility for. I actually worry about this a lot. I wonder how she's going to survive after our parents pass away because they're not young anymore. They're getting old, and once they're gone, I'm not taking their place to cuddle her. My family said I should let my sister have her honeymoon at my house. I'm sorry, what now? Look, it's your house now. It's been your home for 4 years. Not only do your parents have no business giving anyone permission to stay at your home, what the heck was your sister thinking that you just moved out of your home for 2 weeks? Which would also mean you're paying money for their honeymoon. Not just because you would need a hotel, but also because you're the one paying for the utilities. And while it was rather crass to explicitly say what they would be doing in your house, it is accurate and reasonable to object to them staying at your house. She's not speaking to me and I'm uninvited to the wedding. So, not only entitled, but incredibly petty and vindictive. Our parents keep calling me and saying I should do this for her since her wedding is only 1/3 what she wanted it to be. That's unfortunate for her, but that doesn't make it okay to demand others give her anything because of it. It certainly doesn't make it okay to demand someone give up their home for 2 weeks. Not today, Hall. Yeah, if she wanted to visit with her fiancé, then I could handle that. I'd still be skeeved out that they'd more than likely be bumping uglies out of earshot of me and my significant other. But I would have handled that better than her basically asking me to leave for 2 weeks for her. Little update. Well, learned something new today. I spoke to my sister, like a few people suggested, and asked her if she knew the lake house was legally my house. As in, I bought it years ago. She was not, in fact, aware of this. She was under the impression from our parents that they were letting me live there rent-free. I corrected her and even showed her proof that they sold the house to me. And when she asked why they sold it, I was honest and said it was to pay for her college tuition/lifestyle. She became quiet after that and we soon hung up. No idea what's going to happen now. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking my wife's brother out of my wedding? To start, I just want to mention that my brother-in-law Dennis, male 24 and I male 28, don't see eye to eye with each other because we're both very different individuals. He's a bit arrogant and doesn't like to spend time with family. My wife tried to have us spend more time together, but me and Dennis just don't get along. Simple as that. My in-laws are his providers, and they also raise hell on whoever tries to disrespect him. They love me as well, so that's nice. At least I thought. Anyway, so when I visited Dennis to personally hand him my wedding invitation, he told me he may not be attending because he planned to go fishing that day. I couldn't tell if it was a joke, but I didn't care, although this is his sister's wedding. At my wedding, I thought Dennis wasn't coming, and his dad said he's gone fishing. My wife was upset until he showed up, but I wasn't happy. I was mad when I saw that he showed up in t-shirt and shorts, sunglasses and flip-flops. I flipped the hell out and asked what the hell he was wearing. He said it perfectly matches the weather, and complained that it's hot and we could have just picked an indoor venue with air conditioning instead. The guests were staring. Dennis said he didn't give a damn. I pulled him aside and demanded he go change if he still wanted to be at the wedding. My father-in-law gave the leave him alone look, and my wife was shocked. But I certainly told him he needed to have some respect and not wear freaking flip-flops at my wedding. He left and came back in 40 minutes wearing a tuxedo very, very similar to mine with the same bow tie and same everything. My best man was the first to see. He was shocked and told me we had a problem. I had it. I immediately walked up to him to stop him from being seen by the guests. Asked him if he was crazy and yelled at him to leave. My in-laws got involved and told me to back off. This event isn't mine alone, therefore I have no right to kick their son out for following the rules, and accused me of intentionally excluding him from his sister's wedding. He told his parents to not bother with me, shouting, "He's jealous," in front of my family. I kicked him out and told my in-laws they were next if they tried to bring him back. My in-laws were livid and kept berating me for hours, demanding I apologize for making Dennis miss his only sister's wedding. We haven't talked in a week, and my wife says Dennis and I are both a-holes. Was I the a-hole? Everyone sucks here, except your wife. But you most of all. You. Nowhere in this do I see your wife's opinion, except until after the facts. You don't kick out your partner's sibling without their opinion, period. Also, personally, I don't give a damn what people would be wearing to my wedding as long as my loved ones are there. You sound like appearances are more important than people to you. P.S. You don't have to like the guy, but he's your wife's family. You need to learn to deal with him. Dennis, his a-hole for showing up without confirmation. And I'm guessing the whole tuxedo thing was him making a statement he should have not been making at someone else's wedding. Though his behavior was totally provoked by you, at least in part. The in-laws, a-hole for berating you at your own wedding. All of you, not taking into account what the bride actually wanted, and being self-centered a-holes on her wedding day. Honestly, if I was your wife, I'd have left my own wedding and left you sorry a-holes to fight it out. The lot of you. I have to disagree. Opie is not an a-hole. His brother-in-law purposely wore the outfit he did as an act of disrespect. He wore clothes that specifically said, "This wedding is an afterthought." The brother-in-law was purposely trying to provoke Opie. He was not provoked by Opie. Everyone sucks here. You fell right into his trap. He wanted to make you look like the a-hole. He knew what he was doing. He's a pile of toxic goo parading around as a man. I'm sorry he's your brother-in-law. And if you think this is the last time he will pull crap like this, you're mistaken. Not a a-hole. And why was it your wife is pissed, or more, as you were at her brother's behavior? Exactly. If the roles were reversed and the groom's sister showed up in a wedding dress, everyone would be singing a different tune, saying she isn't the a-hole for kicking the sister out, but because Opie is a man and the wedding isn't about him. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for taking my sister on my honeymoon instead of leaving her with my parents? My 36 female baby sister 12 female has autism, sensory processing disorder, ADHD, and multiple chronic physical illnesses. She started getting diagnosed with everything when she was almost 5. After a year, my parents decided they couldn't deal with her and asked me and my then boyfriend, now fiancé 38 male, to adopt her. My fiancé and I are getting married at the end of next month and we'll be going to Hawaii for a week for our honeymoon. We've had a hard time finding someone to take care of her, and we asked my fiancé's parents to take her. They said no, but offered to pay for her to come on our honeymoon and any extra childcare costs and accommodations that she would need. We thought about it for a while and decided to take her. She's so excited for the trip, and the hotel has an amazing daycare that she can go to when my fiancé and I need some time away from her. My parents came over last weekend, and the first thing my sister told them was that she's coming to Hawaii with us. My parents asked why, and I said we couldn't find anyone to take care of her because of how complex her needs are, so we decided to take her with us. They offered to take her for the week, but we declined because 1. They love spending time with her, then get tired of her after around an hour. 2. They ignore her sensory issues. 3. They admit they are not capable of taking care of her. I told them why we declined, and my mom started yelling at me for making them out to be bad parents. They also refused to admit that we're her parents and hates when she calls them grandma and grandpa. They are not speaking to us and are threatening to not come to the wedding. So I wanted to know if I was the a-hole. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Your parents were so incapable of caring for your sister that you had to adopt her. You can't trust your parents to care for your sister unsupervised for any length of time. Also, you should invite them from your wedding. They are toxic. They also refuse to admit that we're her parents and hates when she calls them grandma and grandpa. Guess they should have been actual parents and not have their adult daughter adopt her then. Can't have your cake and eat it too. Not the a-hole. They are bad parents, or they would be if they were raising her. Frankly, if they don't come to your wedding, they're showing that their fantasy world is more important than you or your sister. Yeah. Being manipulative and trying to guilt Opie by threatening not to go to the wedding after giving up their own child to Opie does make them bad parents. Not the a-hole. I actually think that's really sweet to bring her along. It's a shame you're not able to find suitable care to leave her with and have the honeymoon all to yourselves. But it's awesome that you're willing to take her with you rather than leave her with someone who cannot cope with her needs. And at least with the daycare, you'll get some alone time together, and she'll still be able to be with you two and have a good holiday whilst getting appropriate care when in their daycare. Her nanny can take care of her overnight. She just wasn't available the week of the honeymoon, so we'll go away for a weekend without her soon. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not paying for college? I'll preface this by saying that I, 33 male, am a widower. My wife Lee died 3 years ago due to hemorrhaging after giving birth to our twins, Dan and Sam. We had older sons 6 years ago and married shortly after college. I've been successful in my career, as was my wife. So I guess one might call us upper middle class? After Lee died, my sister moved in. My wife and I agreed she could stay with us during college 3 months before twins were born. My sister was 19 at the time, and her university was less than a mile from our home. Although I am still thankful to this day, sister helped me hire a nanny, a housekeeper, and would even watch the twins and my son on occasion. Wife had worked remotely, so we never needed them before and split the cooking and housework 50-50. Except the yard, I have horrible allergies, so I pay for service. I had the money, and to show my appreciation, I paid for tuition and fees. Fast forward, it's 3 years later. Sister will graduate summa cum laude and has several job offers. I'm very proud of her. She's helped me on weekends when I was forced to go out of town and watch the children. Nanny and housekeeper only work Monday to Friday. I don't think I need a nanny or housekeeper when I'm there to take care of the children or cook/clean up. Problem? My brother-in-law, 23 male, is demanding that I pay his tuition/housing/etc. He says he deserves it because it is what his sister would have wanted. He doesn't live with me, nor has he ever helped me with his nephews and niece. He just expects it. I've gotten several awkward phone calls from my wife's family because he is telling everyone that I am paying. Am I the a-hole if I say no? Not the a-hole. Your sister was providing a service in exchange for education, as in bartering. Your brother-in-law has nothing to barter with. I am curious as to how he knows about your financial arrangement with your sister though, since finances are nobody else's business. Besides, you have to save up for your children's college now anyways. Why would you be a a-hole when all your brother-in-law have done to you and your families ask for money? You've given money to your sister because you got something in return, which would else be given to someone else to do the things for you. If your wife was alive, maybe you two would have helped him even if he didn't do anything. But your income is half than it would be, and you would still have to spend money on you and your children. The alternative to you paying your sister is not giving him money, it's giving someone else money, not a a-hole. I saw this and wanted to reply. I never asked my sister to watch the children. She volunteered. I asked her about it a few minutes ago because it made me worried that I made her feel compelled to watch them/help me after my wife died. Sister says, "Because you're my brother, you doofus." Her words verbatim. I paid off her schooling to show my appreciation for her sacrifices these last 3 years. Wow, it will be 4 years in November. I guess when I paid off sister's schooling debt, she'd told our parents, who are still good friends with Lee's parents. I've decided not to pay for brother-in-law's schooling. I know my wife would have at least given him a gift or something, so I think a microwave and mini fridge and maybe a new printer will be the extent of my contribution to his education. I saw the bit about paying someone else's tuition wouldn't be any different. I think a memorial scholarship at her alma mater might be something I discuss with my financial advisor. Thanks. Update. My fiancé cheated on me, at least that is what I think. But she and her family think it is not a big deal because she stopped before anything happened. Original post. My 32 fiancé 32 went on a road trip with her friends. I know all the friends she went with, and I'm pretty good friends with some of them. While on this road trip, she called me just to let me know everything was fine, and that she and her friends would go to a club. The next day in the morning, my fiancé's friend Stephanie called me and told me she saw my fiancé go upstairs with a guy. According to her, she had been to this club before and there is a hookup spot upstairs. This is what she told me, that after 5 to 10 minutes my fiancé came down, and when she asked her what was going on, my fiancé said nothing. So she got suspicious and went upstairs and saw the guy absolutely wasted. After this call, I called my fiancé to ask her about this. She told me she was drunk and messed up, but nothing happened and she got out of the situation as soon as she realized what was happening. To me, it categorizes as cheating. And on that phone call, I told her I was breaking up with her. I didn't really listen to her after this and hung up. The same day but later, her family came over because my fiancé called them and explained her side of the story to them. They acknowledged that what she did was messed up. But since she stopped, this is salvageable and I should not throw away 10 years like that. The only reason I'm thinking about it is that they were genuinely comforting, aware, and not at all intimidating. Stephanie called me at night again and told me that my fiancé is extremely mad at her and trying to get her kicked out of the group for being a snitch. I think Steph did me a solid here, and I'm grateful to her. Even though she's her friend first, she told me. Right now, I don't know if I should dump her or not. The point where she took everything seems like cheating to me. The act itself is just an artifact, and the things leading up to it are just as important. I know for a fact that I cannot trust her. Even if there is some trust left, it is not enough to be engaged to her, let alone getting married to her in January of next year. She messaged me saying that I'm making it a bigger deal than it is, and that I should be grateful that she's this aware even when drunk to not cheat on me. But getting drunk is a freaking choice, and I will not really take it as an excuse. She is on her way back, and I don't know if I should just end it or try to work it out. Any advice? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Now for the advice. She wasn't going to tell you. Her friend did you a solid, and now she's mad at her friend because there is probably more that no one knows but her. I'm sure she told her family that PG story. Based on what your friend told you, your fiancé went up those stairs with full intentions of doing something. If your friend went up after your fiancé came down, and the guy was passed out, your fiancé didn't stop it. The guy's inability to stay conscious stopped it. This exactly. The only reason she stopped is because the guy is passed out, not because she was aware even when drunk. Why do you guys even think she stopped? She came down 5 to 10 minutes later. Despite how dudes brag, that's pretty par course of how long it usually lasts. Multiple red flags here, OP. 1. Going somewhere with the intent of hooking up/intimacy is cheating. Not even physically going. Texting is considered cheating for a reason, so her logic is extremely flawed. 2. She gaslights you, not how healthy relationships work. 3. She intended to sleep with a guy who was completely wasted, aka unable to consent. Since she was aware enough to leave, she was aware enough to consent and to know that the other person cannot. Predatory vibes. Of course, her family will try to do damage control. Don't fall for it and end it. You deserve better. Also, getting mad at her friend for snitching is a red flag. When you mess up, you should be thankful to have friends who hold you accountable. Stephanie's your friend too. She did you a solid. Turn tail and run. Don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. You'll survive after leaving a 10-year relationship. Judging from your explanation of the club, I'd assume your soon-to-be ex has been there before, if she knew the layout, and that upstairs is for hookups. This might not be the first time she cheated, but the first time she was caught. Good luck. You know what you must do. And now for the update. If you are wondering, yes, I have free time. I'm on sick leave for my job. Getting to the point. I did a lot of thinking last night. Even though I made a post, it was more to validate what I already did. Maybe because I was scared to be breaking off a long-term relationship. After thinking about it and the events that happened afterward, I feel like I'm making the best choice for myself. I talked to both my ex-fiancé and Steph, and it solidified my initial response of breaking up. This morning when I and my ex were on the phone, she was convinced that I was being unreasonable, and my motive was to ruin her road trip. This tone persisted throughout the conversation. I still listened to her and she admitted she messed up, but it was not her fault. She just got drunk too much, so I can't really be mad at her. She also repeated that she stopped it even when drunk, so she's actually very faithful. When I asked her about the dude at his date, she never answered me. She also really didn't answer when I asked her what she was doing with someone who was passed out. In my mind, she being unable to answer these fact-based questions means she didn't get her story straight and think it all the way through. Last time when we spoke, she told me we can talk about it in detail when she comes back, which did indicate to me she was trying to fix it. But when I asked her today if she was on her way back, she said she'll come back in 3 weeks, and then we can talk about it and that I misunderstood her. Screw that. This kinda sealed the deal for me. There was no mention of Steph in this conversation. After that, I talked to Stephanie. My ex and her group moved forward with a road trip without her and didn't even tell her. She found out today when she woke up that all others had left. Kinda messed up in my opinion. I also asked her about the incident, and she told me that she'd made everyone aware of the hookup spot beforehand, so my fiancé knew what she was doing. Right now, I have many things going well for me, including my career. I work for a major airline and got into a high-level management position right before COVID. I don't want stuff like this holding me back, so cutting it off entirely seems like the way to go. Also, this is actually good for both of us. I can be in a proper relationship and she can go to hookup spots, stalk wasted dudes, and not do anything. Looks like a win-win to me. The funny thing is, at the very start, I wanted an open relationship and she shut it down. But years later, when in a monogamous relationship, she wants to pull crap like this. I did hook Steph up with a return ticket so she can get back home comfortably and safely. In the afternoon after her flight, she came over to talk about everything. I told her I was fine and thanked her for doing me a solid. 1.5 to 2 hours in, my ex sent me a message of her Snapchat location map and asked me what she was doing in our home. I told her she just came over to check if I was doing fine, because to most people, infidelity is a big deal. And I also corrected her that it was my home, and that she would move out when she gets back. Now I just have to focus on myself for now and wait and see if I live to regret this decision. Also, for people in the last post asking me, yes, to me that was cheating. And to those 3 to 4 people, screw you. You can't tell me how I'm supposed to feel my own emotions. Only I decide that. A real man doesn't feel emotion, my butt. Congratulations for standing up for yourself. It sounds like your ex's family dealt with this issue more maturely than your ex. If she and her relationship were worth fighting to repair, she would have prioritized that, and she would have come straight home to try and repair it. The pattern of truth creep is worrisome. 1. Nothing happened. 2. Something happened, but it wasn't bad. 3. Something bad happened, but it wasn't my fault. 4. It was my fault that something bad happened, but you must forgive me. 5. You and Stephanie are the real villains in my creeping quasi-confession. Don't second-guess yourself. This was cheating. Here's a shout-out to Stephanie, this year's winner of the No Good Deed Goes Unpunished award. She keeps saying she stopped herself from cheating, but it sounds like the only reason they didn't go all the way was because the guy passed out before they could do anything. The intent was clearly there on her part, and in my opinion, it was more than enough. I'm also throwing it out there that if she had done something, it would have absolutely been a crime. So it feels like she's trying to get a I didn't cheat award for not violating someone. Like, yay, she's not willing to commit an absolutely horrible crime. That means she's amazing, and OP/friend are monsters for being mad at her when she didn't even do it. Sorry, and at the same time good for you. Just make sure you pack her things in garbage plastic bags and drop them at her parents' house. Make sure you change the lock. This mess ain't over for her. I need to give her notice at least 14 days. After that, she is her parents' problem. Perfect timing. Just in time for her to return from her road trip. Give her notice now. Absolutely messed up. Sounds like everyone in that group, except Steph, is planning on doing a bunch of questionable things on this trip. If the other women are in monogamous relationships, you may want to warn their partners. Also, sounds like Steph may need a new friend group. Invite her along to your friend things and hang out with her. She sounds like a genuinely good human/bro. Good job dodging a bullet. Sorry it took so long to find out she wasn't a keeper. Now for the last story. Update. My 31 female husband, 32 male cheated on me with his ex and only gave me a half-truth. Original post. In mid-February, my 31 female husband, 32 male of 8 years, went away on a camping trip with his friends, one of which was his ex-girlfriend from college. A few days after, he came clean that he made out with his ex while he was there, but he swore it didn't mean anything. They were just both drunk. He hasn't contacted her since and he only loves me. Before we had a chance to sort through that, my mother had a bit of an accident, and not long after, she passed away. Anyways, about 7 months after my mom's death, so October, I actually ran into his ex while I was grocery shopping and asked me if we could talk maybe over coffee. I wanted to decline, but she was pretty insistent. She was basically in tears, apologized for sleeping with him, and explained that it didn't mean anything. That she had no idea we were still together because they hadn't kept in contact until that trip, and said feels even worse it happened so close to my mother's passing. So I then find out he lied on 2 fronts, so I confront him again. He tells me that he was going to tell me about sleeping with her, but I was so upset, and he didn't want to lose me, so he thought it was best to wait. Then after what happened to my mom, he couldn't bring himself to tell me at all. He then explained he only talked to her once over the phone because she recently broke up with her fiancé, and all her friends were on her fiancé's side. But he immediately told her that his wife's mom just died, and he couldn't help, and then blocked her. He even showed me on his phone that her number was blocked. And he didn't tell me because I wasn't doing well following my mom's death. For the last month, I have been pretty cold to him when our son, 7-year-old, isn't around, because I couldn't really face him. And when using our laptop, I found in the search history how to win custody for fathers, and I had a panic attack. I didn't understand what to do. I considered taking our son and staying at my dad and saying nothing, but I just couldn't. Last night he came home extremely drunk, and he usually doesn't drink. trying to sneak in without waking me. But when I caught him, I figured it may be best to question him now because he probably couldn't lie. He just got a few drinks with work friends after, which I don't doubt. He ended up breaking down and saying that he does love me, but for a bit he just felt bored, and while drunk he made a bad choice. And immediately after he regretted it because he knew he only wanted me forever. I then asked about the custody thing, and hastily explained he thought I was going to leave him because of how I have been acting, and that he had no plans of ending our marriage, because he would wait as long as it took for me to forgive him. This morning he tried to apologize for last night, but I said it was okay. Just don't drink so much again. Now he is at work and I really feel like I should forgive him, but I don't know if I am being naive. Other than this one thing, he has been an amazing husband for 8 years, and I do love him even if I have been pissed with him right now. Should I forgive him? Now for the top advice before reading the update. The fact that the affair partner showed you more honesty instead of someone who swore to love and value you for the rest of your life should be enough to tell you where this relationship stands. I wish you love and peace. You deserve better than this. I'm hearing lots of explanations and excuses, but not really much by way of, here's how I plan to earn your trust back, or here's how I'll keep this from ever happening again. I'm seeing lots of pretty words, but very little action, OP. Beware. Yeah, the last night I came home extremely drunk, but really makes me wary. If I cheated on my partner while drunk and was trying to redeem myself, I would cut that nonsense out for good. But this guy just sweeps it under the rug with a lie, and then is back to business as usual? Nah. That's true. I'll have to discuss this with him because if he seriously has no plans to actually fix things in the future, why should I be the only one trying to fix this? Thanks for the insight. He hasn't owned up to what he did. He used the things you were going through as an excuse. If he was truly sorry, he would have owned up to it all at once. He's selfish for doing what he did because he admitted that he didn't want to lose you. It's not his decision to make. Even after he confessed, he fails to use proper communication and wants behind your back to find how to win a custody hearing. He doesn't respect you. If someone is bored in the marriage, then tell them, or find ways to spice it back up. Cheating shouldn't be a solution. I agree. He probably should have confessed it all at once. And the fact that he kept that lie is something I should probably weigh more heavily, because he did selfishly take my choice. I could maybe understand looking into how to win custody, because I do know at the very least he loves our son. But you are 100% right, he should have discussed all this with me. Thanks for the comment. And now for the update. So the night I wrote that post, I decided to talk with my husband again. I asked what are we going to do to restore trust, and I suggested marriage counseling. He told me that would be a waste of time and money. He said it was a single mistake, and that he doesn't need counseling for that, and I'll get over it in time. I told him I had trouble feeling close to him like I once did, and that I had a hard time trusting him, so I did think we did need it. He just said that he has been trying his best to be nice about this, but has been nothing but good to me for 8 years, so he's done trying to make me feel better. I just said fine, because he was getting really angry. Besides, I said what I needed to. The next day after I got out of work, I packed mine and my son's stuff, picked him up from school, and went to stay at my dad's. That weekend I got a call from his ex. Turns out my soon-to-be ex-husband called her screaming that it was her fault, that she recorded part of the call. She also said she wanted us to reconnect, so we have actually become friends again, like we were in college. Well, that's where I'm at now. I have a long divorce ahead of me and I'm guessing a ton more therapy, but I'm happy I'm dealing with this now. This wasn't an issue that will fix itself. Thank you all for the advice you gave. Edit. I didn't mention it in this post, but because of some comments, I thought I would. Regarding the night where he cheated, when they slept together, she did not know that he was married. She wouldn't have slept with him if she did, and he seems to have been the one that was pushing for them to sleep together. While I appreciate some people are looking out for me, I'm sure that I don't need to be wary of her. Good call, because this right here, and I'll get over it in time, means he doesn't give a damn about how you feel or what you did. Now he can get over the divorce. In time. I'm so sorry you had to go through this. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I lost both of my parents this year within 7 months of each other, so I feel for you. You absolutely made the right choice. He isn't willing to go to therapy for your benefit and to help regain trust, and he wasn't even allowing you to be angry about the affair and his lying. He sounds emotionally stunted and unwilling to change. I'm so sorry this happened to you, but happy you got out. I know people throw the term narcissist around pretty carelessly on here, but he is a narcissist. He doesn't understand or care how his actions impact others. All of his language was me, me, me. He only cares about how the situation that he created with his own actions is affecting his happiness. I'm so glad that you're getting out. Don't put off getting a lawyer. Do it as soon as possible and not as soon as convenient. A selfish and self-absorbed person like your soon-to-be ex-husband is going to try to screw you over in a divorce. So the earlier you know how to protect yourself legally, the better off you are going to be. Love all how that talk about loving you and not wanting to lose you went right out the window as soon as he actually had to put his money where his mouth is. Good luck with the custody battle, miss. You and your son certainly deserve better.
Update. Am I the a-hole for calling off my wedding because my fiancé wanted to invite her ex? Original post. My fiancé wanted to invite an ex to our wedding. From what I know, he was a jerk who always put her down and told her she'd never find anyone better. Naturally, I asked her why she would even want him at our wedding. She said she wanted to show him that she had done amazingly for herself and found someone way better. While I appreciated a compliment, I asked her, are you really so hung up on him that you'd make our wedding about proving something to him? The moment I said it, it was like someone else was speaking. I didn't even realize what I was saying until the words came out. I then told her not to bother inviting him because we weren't getting married anymore. She was stunned and eventually apologized, saying she'd forget about her ex. I felt angry and almost said she was the one who needed to forget about him. She spent the rest of the day apologizing for bringing it up, but honestly, I'm now reconsidering the entire relationship. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole for calling off the wedding if her fixation on her ex raised serious doubts about the relationship. The fact that she wanted to invite him to shove it in his face shows that she's still emotionally tied to proving something to him. This, at minimum, she is not prepared for marriage. At worst, she still has feelings for him. I am not saying to end a relationship, but at least postpone the wedding for several months until you have more time to clear your uneasiness and feel again if she's the one. Don't take unnecessary risks. I'd suggest OP delaying for at least a year. If OP and fiancé are living together, I'd suggest they live separately. The goal being to find out if she is with OP because she loves him for himself, or does she love the idea of OP so she can throw it in her ex's face. Not the a-hole. She let you know she's not over her ex yet. That's why she wants to exhibit you to him like a prize or a trophy. What does she expect to happen after that? Does she intend him to come to her regretting he lost her, but now he's a different person and things could work between them? She didn't make her marriage about him for no reason. She didn't even consider it would be her marriage too. You did the right thing by reconsidering your relationship. She's not ready to marry, at least not with you. There should not be a third person in her mind when planning such an important step. This is 100% what's happening. She still thinks he will realize what he lost. Stop the wedding and ride with her into the sunset. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if this turns into one of those been married for 10 years and just discovered my wife slept with her ex for closure before our wedding. Now for the update. I've decided to try some premarital counseling first. Our wedding has gone from being called off to being postponed indefinitely. My fiancé tried to explain why she wanted to invite her ex. But not only did her explanations keep changing, each one made it worse for me. First, she said she just wanted some payback. I asked her, and if he doesn't care, are you going to try to rub it in his face when we have our first child? Or when we buy our first home? She said that's not what she meant, and she just wanted to prove her worth. I responded, so I guess your ex is the only one who can determine your worth? We kept going back and forth like this for a while, and every answer boiled down to the same thing. She cares what her ex thinks, and apparently she can't be happy unless he feels some sort of way about it. She denied it, but honestly, I'm finding it hard to believe her. I don't want our marriage to only feel valuable if her ex validates it. I refuse to be with someone whose happiness revolves around their ex's feelings. That said, I've decided to at least give counseling a try. We've been together for years now. For context, she was with her ex for about 2 years, then met me 3 years later, and we've been together for 4. I figured I should at least give it a shot, if nothing else, so I can say I tried. Not a-hole. After 7 years broken up, 4 years out of the 7 with you, and sounds like she's still not over him. I wouldn't dare marry her. Exactly. If the ex were to show some interest, she'd drop Opie in a hot minute. I almost wonder if she was hoping that by inviting her ex, he'd give her the opportunity. It's been 7 years, and she is still this obsessed. If you break up now, can you see yourself still being obsessed with her in 7 years' time whilst planning a wedding to someone else? Know your own worth, Opie. Unfortunately, it makes me wonder if she's settling for Opie solely as her insurance policy. Does she want to be in this relationship because she loves Opie? Or has she just been using Opie as an accessory to show off? It also makes me wonder what else has she tried to do to get her ex's attention when Opie wasn't aware. How can you plan your future together when she's always going to be stuck in the past? It sounds like you're not holding out too much. Hope for counseling have any good effect. That's a very smart thing because I don't think I will. It's kind of hard to be hopeful after listening to my potential wife say she cares about what her ex thinks in like 10 different ways. It's been a long time, 7 years. Maybe time isn't the answer, and even therapy can't help her. I wish you the best, and thank goodness you've at least indefinitely suspended marrying her. It seems like she can't commit 200% being with you if she still feels so much about what her ex thinks. Last story. Final update. Am I the a-hole for not giving my partner a second chance after he made a mistake while he was on a vacation? Original post. I, female 26, met my partner, male 39, 6 years ago when I first moved to Canada from Germany. We moved in together within a year. We work in different fields, but make about the same amount annually. I found out I was pregnant in July. When I told him, he was frustrated. I reminded him that I had repeatedly mentioned how my medication interactions required us to use rubbers, as advised by my doctor, but he had refused. Eventually, he said he was happy to become a dad and would support me. We were invited to a destination wedding in Mexico, his friend's wedding. I told him that my doctor had advised me not to travel, as I had been very sick lately and had been hospitalized a few times, so I couldn't go. He got upset and said he really wanted to attend. I got tired of hearing his complaints, so I told him it was fine. It was just a week and he should go ahead. I spoke to his mom, and she offered to drive me to the hospital if I needed to go while he was away. The wedding was last Tuesday. He left on Saturday evening. He sent me some pictures on the day of the wedding, saying he missed me and wished I was there. I replied that hopefully we could take more trips once the baby was here. Then he went quiet on Wednesday. I got worried and texted his friend, who replied, "Oh, yeah, he's fine. I'll tell him to text you." But still, I didn't hear anything. On Friday evening, last night, he finally called. I asked him what was going on and why he had left me worrying sick for days. He asked how I was doing and if I needed any help. I said I was okay and luckily I hadn't needed anything. Then he said he needed to tell me something. He confessed that he made a horrible mistake while drunk. He hooked up with one of the bridesmaids, the bride's sister, and brought her to his room. In the morning, he realized what a fool he was and told her to leave. He said, "I made a mistake, but you have to realize if you were with me, this wouldn't have happened. I was drunk and lonely. It was a one-time thing and meant nothing." I felt like my brain was frozen. I said, "And you ghosted me for days and are just telling me now? Were you with her this whole time?" He said no, that he needed time to think because he was ashamed. I told him not to bother coming home. I said he could stay with her or his mom until I found a place and that I never wanted to see him again. He accused me of being selfish, hormonal, and overreacting to one mistake. He said he took responsibility, owned up to what he did, and would do anything to prove himself to me. Am I overreacting for not even considering forgiving him for the sake of the baby? My best friend thinks we should try counseling and give him one last chance, but I'm just so upset that I can't even think clearly. Thank you for your advice. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. I made a mistake, but you have to realize if you were with me, this wouldn't have happened. This isn't taking responsibility for his behavior or owning his mistake. He's blaming you, and that's disgusting. Everything he said is making excuses for his choices. Cheating is a choice. He chose to go instead of staying with you, even throwing a tantrum until you gave in. He chose to drink. He chose to hook up with her. You are not overreacting. You are not selfish or hormonal. He's the selfish one. If you take him back, I guarantee he will do this again the next time his brain freezes, or you aren't able to cater to his every want. Find a new place and focus on taking care of yourself and your baby. He's not a good partner, and you will be better off without him. Thank you. I needed to hear this. He did not make a mistake. He made a choice to ignore his commitment to you and be intimate with another woman. That is not a mistake. It's a very poor choice. And you are not the least bit responsible for his poor choices, as he is an adult and capable of functioning without you. You need a partner, not a child. You are not the a-hole. He was 100% shacked up with this woman the whole time he was ghosting you. He's lying. That's how I feel, because he didn't even acknowledge me until Friday. I would reach out to the friend you talked to, tell him you know about the bride's sister and you're just confirming the details. That guy knows what happened. The reason I say he shacked up with her is that a guy with this level of maturity would argue to himself, well, since I already slept with her, what's the harm? I thought about it, and my friend said this would make me look like a crazy person. Is it crossing the boundary if I do that? I guess I would approach it something like, hey, I've spoken with my partner about what happened in Mexico with the bride's sister. I just want to make sure I have the full story. You spent the rest of the week with her? Keep it somewhat vague and non-accusatory. And yes, it's a white lie, but it can help bring truth. However, also ask yourself the question whether you even want to know. Would it change your decision to leave him? Also, I missed that this man is almost 40. If he can't have a drink without ending up falling in another woman's vag, then you've got way bigger problems. I just texted him that. Hopefully he will tell me the truth instead of covering up for him. First update. As many of you suggested, I sent a quick message to his friend and a bridesmaid he slept with. I told them that Kyle had admitted to the hookup and said it was a one-time thing, but I was wondering if there was more to the story they'd like to share. They both blocked me. Then, all of his friends blocked me in social media as well. Late last night, he sent me a message, I think he was drunk, calling me an unhinged lunatic. He said he had done the right thing by owning up to his mistake and confessing, yet I acted like a crazy person and harassed his friends and a bridesmaid. He accused me of being so insecure that it was pathetic and said that we are done. He told me to get out of his house immediately. He didn't mention the baby even once. I decided not to reply. I didn't have the energy and had been crying all day. Last night, I made a decision to move back in with my family, and I'm leaving early tomorrow morning. My family is happy that I'm coming back, especially my mother. I don't think I'll say goodbye to his mom. I'm not ready to talk to him, and she would probably just try to involve him in a conversation. Thank you again for all your comments and support. It sounds like you've made a strong decision for your well-being, and move back to your family is a positive step toward healing. I was awake all night packing and crying. I feel very hurt and heartbroken. It's easy for someone else to say, but don't feel too bad about losing him. He sounds like a terrible person and would likely have been a terrible father to your child. He has already established he is a terrible partner to you. You are accomplished and are going back to people who love you and can raise your baby in peace without his influence. I hope you don't tell him you are leaving. And even though he said to get out of his house, I'm willing to bet my life when he shows up and you are not there and he realizes you packed all your stuff, he's going to flip. He thinks he can do what he wants, and then you call him out and he gets mad at you. Screw this dude honestly, for as old as he and his friends are, they sound like teenagers. And they are okay with their friends sleeping around and their friends sleeping with people who are in relationships. They all suck. You are doing the right thing. Good for you, and I hope you and your baby have the best life. No, I never replied after told me to GTFO out his place immediately. Birds of a feather stick together. He sucked, and so did his friends. Good riddance to them all. For the future though, if medication messes up your birth control and condoms are advised, if your partner refuses to wear protection, refuse to sleep with them. I wish you well in your pregnancy. But girl, don't sleep with a man who doesn't respect something that's common sense and advised by a medical professional. That's what I told him that doctor advised rubbers. He rolled his eyes and said, "Would you relax? I don't need a damn rubber. I know what I'm doing. I'll pull out." Then says he pulled out late. Yes, I feel so stupid trusting him. Second update. Hi, I'm sitting at the airport waiting for my flight, so I thought I'd write one last update. I messaged his mom to tell her what happened, and I was shocked when she immediately called back, furious with me. She said I had some nerve twisting the story to cover for my cheating. I was completely confused and told her I didn't understand what she was talking about. Apparently, he told everyone, including his mom, that he had checked my social media. He had all my passwords, though I never had any of this. I've since changed all my passwords and found out that I was having an affair with a coworker. According to him, I was trying to trick him into raising a baby from this supposed affair. I explained to his mom that most of my team works remotely, so this claim makes no sense. Plus, I only have about 25 followers on Instagram, mostly family from back home. I also have a personal rule not to add coworkers on social media because I prefer to keep my personal and professional lives separate. She said her son found out about the affair while he was alone in Mexico and is now heartbroken. She kept going on about how I could do something like that to him. I kept trying to explain, but she wasn't listening. I was so upset that I finally told her I was done arguing and hung up. I'm done with this man and his lies. He just makes things up and blames me for them. I can't do this anymore. I've submitted a time off request to my boss, who is amazing, and will be taking some time to settle down over the next few weeks. I'm looking forward to starting a new chapter in my life without him. Holy smokes. I'm so sorry. The trash took itself out. These people are toxic. Save yourself. I was gonna tell his mom I'll gladly do a DNA test when the baby is born just to prove that I have never cheated. Then I realized she doesn't want to listen to me. What's the point? Think about that once you get some time and space. If you decide to establish paternity, hire legal counsel. Child support is the right of the child. Knowing that, everything can go through the courts. You don't have to engage his mother on this topic. If he pushes for a paternity test, you may not have a choice. Either way, take time. Build your support circle. Be safe and peaceful for you and your baby. Think about what you want and what your child will need. Then determine what to do. I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. Do an agreement that when the test comes out and the baby is his, she and him won't be involved in the baby's life. I'm gonna talk to my dad's lawyer next week. That's a good idea. I just can't get over his lies. The only co-workers I have in our Canadian branch is my boss, a lady in her late 50s, our admin lady, and the IT guy who is a guy in his late 60s and happily married. Rest are all virtual. I've been working from home for a long time.
Update. Am I the a-hole for dumping my girlfriend after moving in with her? Original post. I, 25 male, moved in with my girlfriend, 24 female of 4 years, 3 weeks ago. She chose the place, and although her name is on the lease, I paid half of the deposit and paid the first month of rent, as she couldn't afford it. I also paid the first month of bills. She works part-time and has some savings she used to furnish the place according to her taste, despite my objections. I felt she overspent, and the money could have been better spent on other things. She had a few friends over on Monday when I came home.
She had ordered food, and as I normally come home from work at 5, she was surprised to see me there an hour earlier. They were a little drunk, and one of her friends made strange comments, which I thought nothing of due to the alcohol as I went to the bathroom to shower. When I came out from the shower, her other friends and sister was quoting me poetry that I had written to my girlfriend, and was quite handsy. I found it odd and asked her where she had heard that. She goes, "We just read your love letters to her before watching a movie." My girlfriend was laughing with them. Her sister made a remark about how she wanted me to do her the way I do her sister, because she had never felt that way. I was furious, but due to her drunkenness, thought it impossible to talk to her. So I just left for my mother's house. On Tuesday, she called me 17 times, but I ignored it. She also sent me many texts, wanting to know why I wasn't home. On Wednesday, I told her in person how hurt I was for her sharing my intimate letters with her friends, and for oversharing what we do in private. She said, "Relax, it was a joke, and nobody got hurt." She said the girls were impressed with me, and that is why they got a little handsy. She said once I gave her the letters, they were hers to share with whom she pleased. So I told her that I am my own person, and can make the decision to not share more of myself with her. Today she came to my mother's apologizing. She wanted me to come back and talk it out with her. I told her no, and that we were through. She wouldn't leave, so I drove to my father's place, where I am now. She kept texting me and telling me that I should be ashamed of myself for leaving her like that. She got her friends and sister to apologize to me, and they told me to quit playing games and go home now that they had apologized. I told them I was home, and that as my name was not on the lease and I wasn't respected as an equal in her home, I no longer wanted to be with her. Luckily for me, I hadn't moved most of my stuff there. She kept phoning and texting, and I blocked her. She then made a mutual friend of ours contact me and tell me that I was being cowardly about it, so I blocked him too. Then his girlfriend texted me and told me not to take things out of proportion. I am almost certain I did the right thing, but maybe I should talk it out with her before cutting all contact. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Nobody got hurt. Odd she said that, after you explicitly said it hurt you. Also, don't love it when people rope their friends into internal relationship disputes. Personally, I wouldn't want to sign up for a life of this, so not the a-hole. Nah, she was just being honest. She just thinks OP is nobody to her. That she called him a B while trying to win him back was the final nail in the coffin. She thought a bloke calling him an emasculating name would shame him into coming back. Boy, did sis read that wrong. OP deserves better than someone who thinks getting your boyfriend groped by your drunk friends is a fun joke. Not the a-hole. Can you imagine what this situation would be viewed as if this was a guy treating a girl this way? She comes home and his friends are drunk. They've gone through her intimate stuff that she's given him. He talks to them about their intimate lives, and they all come up to her and start being handsy with her and telling her how great she is and to sleep with them in the same way. Then later on call her, apologize to her, then tell her she's being too sensitive and a B for not coming back. Yeah, that is quite the scene you just laid out. Totally disgusting, whether you are male or female. It's not just the love letters that I wrote intimate thoughts in that got to me. She shared our sex life too. I thought everyone knew that what happens between two people stays that way. The letters were sent and addressed to her when I was abroad, and it had a lot of info about my family, and I never thought she would share them with people I didn't address them to. Now for the update. After reading a lot of the advice here and talking it out with my family and friends, it seems it's best to not continue my relationship. I haven't contacted her directly, but I went with my brother and my friend while she went to visit her parents on a pre-booked trip. I collected my things and gave my brother the key to give her Friday evening. She wouldn't take it from him, as she wanted me to return it. My brother told her there was zero chance of that happening, because of the TikTok post she had on her account going into more details about what was in the letters for me, including her mentioning my sister by name and her miscarriages. This forced my sister to tell my mother about it, even though it brought up a lot of trauma for her. At the moment, my sister is not talking to me, because she felt I shouldn't have shared that with anyone. I agree. It was a violation on my part, even though I was looking for emotional support from my girlfriend. My ex took down the post in hopes of getting me to meet with her. When she realized that wouldn't happen, she put up another one telling her side of the story. There were several parts, and in it she was looking for the letters to show her followers.
but I knew where she kept them and took them while I went to collect my stuff. I burnt all of them. I won't be writing letters to any new romantic partners anytime soon. Her sister has been to my mother's a few times trying to get me to help out with the rent. As according to my ex's reasoning, if I hadn't agreed to pay for the rent, she wouldn't have overspent in setting up her home the way she wanted. Even if she sells the stuff, she won't get the original price for it, so she feels it's my fault for making her lose money. She did contact the landlord, filmed for TikTok viewers while she was on the phone to him, and he denied her breaking the lease without penalties. Now she has to pay the remainder of the months. I asked her for my deposit through my friend while he was on a loudspeaker to her, so I could hear her side without having to speak, knowing full well I wouldn't get my part, but at least he tried. She called him a lot of names, then phoned him back and apologized because she wanted him to tell me to phone her so she could straighten out the misunderstanding and we could get back together. She has now taken down all the posts about me. Don't know if she will upload them again once it dawns on her that we are through. She phoned my brother again to make me speak to her so she could explain, and he met her a few hours ago. He finally gave her the key as she was told either she could take it or we could return it to the landlord. He picked up a call from her an hour after I dropped off the keys. She wanted to talk to me and to forgive her, as she had seen how she made a mistake and that it wouldn't happen again. She wanted me to return the love letters, but my brother told her they were burned. She had to go at him, so my brother cut her off. She phoned back more apologetic and said what she had to do to make me go back. He asked her if she would be okay with me sharing her nudes and clips she has sent me with my male friends. He asked her this without okaying it with me first. She said she wouldn't be okay with it. I guess the double standard has completely turned me off, as she told my brother that if you receive something through a romantic relationship, then it stays between four eyes. It's not that she doesn't understand that what she did is wrong, it's that she expects me to be okay with it, as in her mind, her feelings matter more in a relationship. She also thinks that me being taller and bigger than her shouldn't have felt threatened by her friends or sister, as I was not really in harm's way. He then blocked her as she phoned him several times over and left him crying messages, and then some angry messages to delete her nudes. Her sister left an angry message with a friend that helped me with asking for the deposit, and she threatened him that if I ever leaked her nudes, I wouldn't live to regret it. She told him to pass on the message to me that there is something she's very insecure about sharing about her body, and she doesn't want me to share that without her consent. I'm getting a new number as I can do so with my current payment plan. I'm going forward from this and hoping that I make better decisions in the future. Thank you to all that helped me with good advice. Her double standards and that of her sister are seriously disgusting. You got rid of a cancer in your life, bro. Forward and upward. I honestly get how love letters can be different to nudes, but in this case, they aren't. F the sister for that, and all those hypocrites. Call me crazy, but is it really that hard to understand you shouldn't embarrass your partner for your friend's amusement? His ex is someone who puts her life on TikTok, possibly without realizing it's her worst side. It's unsurprising that she shared personal info for her friend's amusement. So, OP is rightly upset about girlfriend sharing intimate details of their relationship, and then girlfriend decides to post, check notes, multiple times to TikTok about said intimate relationship issues, and is shocked he won't speak to her? Alright then. Let's not forget the sexual harassment of ex-girlfriend's sister groping and asking to hook up. Like, was he supposed to agree and then do her right there? Yeesh. OP's ex could have fixed this with an immediate apology, but no. She kept doubling down. Also, girl, when you go to a lower-paying job, you don't spend your savings on frivolous things. Well, in her mind, she had someone else to pay day-to-day expenses. She was going to save up for a few months while he paid rent. I doubt she would have ever paid anything towards it. Dropping down to part-time before moving into your first place is pretty deliberate. I also doubt that the landlord said only one person could be on lease. That's weird, at least where I live. Last story. Update. Am I the a-hole for blocking my ex when she broke up with me? Original post. My 19 male ex-girlfriend, 20 female of 3 years, broke up with me Sunday night over text. She told me that she felt like my lack of ambition was holding her back, and she needed to move on with her life because she felt like I didn't value her. When she sent me that, I just sent okay and blocked her, and fell asleep shortly after.
I did not block her friends and had loads of messages yesterday morning when I woke up. They were asking me to unblock her and talk to her. My sister, 20 female, is also friends with my ex-girlfriend, and she told me that my ex was hurt by my sudden blocking and that she still wanted to talk to me for closure and wanted to make sure I was okay. I told my sister that I was okay and that I didn't want to talk to my ex, but would like it if she could tell her I appreciate her checking on me. My sister was not happy with this and told me that it was a hard decision for my ex and she just wants to talk to me. I again told her I was fine and that I'd rather not. My sister then told me that I'm acting insanely calm for being broken up with someone I was with for 3 years. I again told her I was fine. She asked me if I cried, and I told her that I didn't, and I just fell asleep listening to music. My sister told me that she's concerned about my lack of emotion and told me that my behavior isn't normal. I told her that I'm not obligated to cry over anything, and I think it's weird that she was acting like I was. My sister once again told me that it wouldn't hurt to have one conversation with my ex because she was still worried about me and wanted to stay friends. I once again told her that I was fine and didn't want to talk to her. She told me that my lack of compassion is psychotic, and that ticked me off, so I just started ignoring her and she eventually left me alone. This morning, when I woke up, my sister sent me a bunch of text messages again, so I just blocked her, and because of this, she went and told our parents and they are upset with me for blocking my ex without communicating first. They said that we've been together long enough and they thought of her as a second daughter. I was just aggravated at this point and told them that I'd appreciate it if they mind their business, but they didn't stop. So I told them I wouldn't hesitate to block them too if they continue, which caused them to stop. They apologized to me and told me that they didn't mean any harm, but just felt like it was a little inconsiderate of me to just block her without talking about it first. But they won't press me to talk to her if I don't want to. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Are you kidding? She says she doesn't want to date you, and that is mad when you cut contact? She can't have it both ways. She dumped you. She chose to end it. She's a huge a-hole for making her inability to deal with her emotions about the breakup your problem. Like, why should you babysit her emotions when she freaking dumped you? Thank you. I don't understand why everyone was making it seem like I was in the wrong when I wasn't even the one who broke up with her. It was a strategic dumping, a wake-up call. Your sister may even have been in on it. And second thoughts make that probably. You were supposed to realize what you were about to lose and get your act together. Then you'd all live happily ever after. Except you, because your significant other would threaten to dump you every time you didn't comply. By accepting it and not following their script, you ruined the narrative and left your ex hanging with no plan B. The closure was code for you begging for a second chance if you agreed to straighten up, and your ex graciously agreeing. Nice body swerve there. Your ex and possibly your sister seemed to be playing stupid games, and you were well out of it. Nobody raising the point that she broke up via freaking text? A 3-year relationship. WTF. And then everyone claims the recipient of the text is an a-hole. That is crazy. I have the feeling girlfriend didn't want to break up, but rather have OP up himself to whatever she deems good enough. His sister's reaction is strange as well. Too invested in this drama that isn't one. I'm guessing ex and sister cooked this up to fight for us, or trick him into something. Yep, she's furious she's not getting any validation from OP. No begging, no pleading. Ignoring her is absolutely the best thing OP could do. And yeah, sister absolutely was part of the discussion. OP needs to talk to his parents about that part. That nonsense should not fly. Now for the update. This happened like exactly a week ago, so I apologize for not updating. I genuinely was not thinking about this at a time. Basically, my ex showed up at my parents' house during Easter with my sister. My parents and I weren't even made aware that she was coming. She told us that she only came because she had no other way to communicate with me. She told me that she was extremely hurt by me blocking her right off the bat, because it made her feel like I actually didn't care about her at all. She said she thought that I would have loved her enough to try and better myself for her. I was confused by this, to be honest. I told her that she said I was holding her back, and she needed to move on. If anyone told me that I was holding them back in life, I probably would have blocked them too. I told her that even if she didn't say that, I still wouldn't have begged her to stay. We kinda talked a little more after that, and then she got my sister to take her back home. When my sister came back, she was mad at me again because she said that I caused my ex to cry, and I'm simply punishing her for caring about me. My parents are mad at my sister though, because they said it was unnecessary for her to do that at their house because it made the atmosphere awkward for everyone. Other than that, I've really just been chilling. I don't think I'ma try and date anybody else soon though, or at least not someone my sister is friends with, because it makes me uncomfortable with how much she's invested in my life. Not a-hole. She broke up with you. She has no reasonable way to expect that you would continue to follow her around like a lost puppy. Showing up at your parents' house to talk to you after you blocked her is stalker behavior. So she made herself cry when it didn't turn out like she wanted. This girl overplayed her hand. What she thought was that OP would beg her to stay and ask what he could change about himself to improve. Instead, OP was like, "Cool, peace out." Yep, and she deserves exactly what's happened. If there is something that needs to change, you talk like an adult to your partner and see if you can come to a good compromise if you can. Awesome if you can't. It's a shame, but you aren't compatible. OP's ex-girlfriend played stupid game. Won stupid prize. Sister is way out of line for encouraging this kind of behavior and saying OP needs to accommodate this kind of ridiculous behavior. Yeah, you have no reason at all to not block her. If she really broke up with you in an attempt to get you to level up for her, that is absolutely moronic. I wonder which idiotic woman in her life told her that this was a good idea. She 100% did not get that advice from a man, because any man would have told her that that idea was idiotic. We should all be going full no contact after a breakup. Also, why the heck would you try to convince someone who has already decided that they don't want you anymore to stay with you? Who the heck would want to be with a woman who doesn't want to be with them? That sounds like a nightmare relationship. We taking bets on this? Because I want $10 on his sister.